Okay, I'm awake. I stayed up all night, like till 4 in the morning, watching both conferences, and now it's obviously time to edit these, starting with the EA conference, of which was alright. So, strangely, it came in pairs. So we had two sports, Madden and FIFA. Then we had two sci-fi of Star Wars and Mass Effect. And then two shooters of Titanfall and Battlefield. And then the one exception of the indie game, which we'll get to. So we'll just grab all these games, grab them all in their respective order. Obviously, leaving the best one to last because Battlefield 1 is the one that everybody wants to be in. Everybody's like, oh, Battlefield 1's 32 on 32 action. It's the best. So obviously that's the one that'll be saved to last. But most of them we can skim over anyway because there wasn't really that much to go over with on EA. I mean, we have Madden 17 and FIFA 17, and there, you know, it's Madden, it's FIFA, it's the latest version. Like, you get your new players that have transferred from different teams to other teams. They've now got different prices because, you know, last year they might have just been casual, and that casual guy scored like 20 goals and now he's in the Premier League, so he's worth more. So Madden is Madden, FIFA is FIFA. There ain't much to say, and, you know, in terms of Madden, they didn't really have much to say. I guess we'll just go on a fly around for this conference, but, like, with Madden, they said, here's, like, the best Madden player in the entire world, and they showed off this guy that was, like, all these two guys that were competing for the Madden trophy, and they're now going to have, like, a Madden thing every year where you can win $1 million. So that's Madden. And then for FIFA, it was just more a, hey, look at all these footballers and these managers. Like, we had this black dude come out, and he was like, I'm a black dude, and I am a footballer, and I started off as a nobody, and I moved, I started off down there in the streets as a nobody, but now I'm up here in the castle, living my life, and this is my story. So he has his own story to tell, and the revolutionary, part of FIFA was, oh my god, it's freezing. Really? You're going to do this, Minecraft? Fine, we'll just look at this castle. But, the revolutionary part of FIFA was it added a story mode. So it's like, hey, there's a story mode now. And it's like, ooh, story mode. So you're going to always have this black guy on your team, and he's always going to, be playing whether you like it or not, and you can see his rise to fame. And then there was, all these managers that have these different reactions, and apparently, according to EA, that's one of the best bits where it's like, dude, come closer. This manager here, he's going to have the sickest reaction ever. And then just this random guy walked on screen like I didn't even realise he's a manager, and me and my friends were joking like, Sir, we're trying to do a conference. Do you wanna... Sir?
Yeah, someone just WhatsApped on the stage.
Sir, please get off the stage.
He just watching.
Sir, we're in the middle of the E3 thing.
Did I say 3? I'm not quite sure.
People.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jose Mourinho.
Hey, DLC 1.
But it turns out he was a manager, so he's a manager, and he was there. So that's those two. So we'll just move on. What was after this? Oh yeah, they showed a Star Wars thing. We can pretty much quickly go over this one because it didn't have anything. Like, we had this girl come out, and she's like, I'm a big Star Wars fan, and there's Star Wars Battlefront or something, and it's like, alright, it's Star Wars Battlefront, and it's like, yeah, and there's gonna be one new map, and the Knights of the Old Republic, or something. Okay, anything else? No! Sure? Yeah! Alright then, so that was Star Wars. That's all that Star Wars was. I think they announced one new map for Battlefront, and then they were working on another Star Wars game, of which we got to see like one dude walking down a corridor, and that was about it. So we move on to Mass Effect Andromeda. Again, pretty much the same. They didn't have anything to show for themselves. They just said that they were working with the Frostbite engine now, and they're like, with the Frostbite engine, it's going to be the most dynamic engine, it's going to be cool. And they showed off like the work in progress. They showed the guys at the desks and making like this one character smile, and that was, again, that was about it. There was nothing of real substance there. It was just like, hey, we made a thing, and it's like, great, is that it? Yep, that's it. Come back next year to find out about that. So those four we could pretty much just skim right over. There was nothing in those four. So moving on to we'll leave Titanfall because I actually had gameplay. Moving on to Fee, and you know it's pronounced Fee. You know, Phi is the girl in Skyward Sword, and that's how you pronounce it because it's got an I, F-I, Phi, and this has got an E, F-E, Fee. Although you can't search it apparently because with most search engines like Fur Affinity's search engine, which I'll come back to in a minute, there's a reason why I'm saying Fur Affinity, you have to have 3 or more characters, so FE doesn't really come up with anything. But hey, that's fine. So Fee is our indie darling. We had, like Unraveled, we had a timid little indie dev come trotting out onto the stage, or being forced out onto the stage, all nervous, like, oh, I made this game. Me and this Swedish people in Stockholm. We made this game, and it's quite nerve-wracking to be here. And it looks great. It's going for a Ori and the Blind Forest look, as you can no doubt tell by what is some stunning visuals. You know, it looks really, really nice, going for this Ori and the Blind Forest look. But it's exclusive to Origins, and I am really annoyed at this, because I brung this up last time when Unraveled came out, and I was like, oh, Unraveled looks really good, I can't wait to play it. But Unraveled never came out on Steam, never came out on PlayStation Network. It's exclusive to Origins, and I ain't buying Origins. I ain't downloading Origins, because Origins is a horrible, horrible platform. Like, it has memory leaks. It's like the worst piece of shit when you put it on a PC. Nobody likes Origin, so why they're trying to get all these indie games exclusive to Origin pisses me off, because it's basically like, hey, here's an indie game that you'll really like, but you can't have it, so it's because it's on Origins. So, you know, I really don't want to, because I really like the look of this game, but I'm going to have to pirate it, aren't I, EA? I'm going to have to go onto a website and obtain the game via other means, because you refuse to put it on things like the PlayStation Network, because you want everybody to use your shitty Origin, and nobody's going to use your shitty little Origin. So, in terms of the game though, really, really nice visuals. It looks amazing. You know, it's going for that Ori and the Blind Forest look. It looks absolutely stunning. The gameplay, it seems like a puzzle platformer. We see the character jumping around, and we see him throw like something at this big dude who clears the pathway for you, so it's clear that you cannot attack. You've got to use the environment to destroy these robot-looking things that are coming to destroy your beautiful forest, so you use bigger monsters or other environmental objects to deal with them rather than yourself dealing with them, because you do not have that ability. And as I say, it's got some nice music. They showed off the music. It's really calming, lovely music, and the main character looks absolutely adorable. And with less than 24 hours, I was going to say 24 hours, but EA's press conference for me was like at 11 o'clock at night, so it's not even been 24 hours yet. It's been more 12 hours because it's 11 o'clock in the morning. So within 12 hours, we've already got our first piece of art of the character here, which is the safe for work art, and the other sites, like Fur Affinity, are already starting to fill this darling up with the same things that has been filling up the Overwatch search engines recently. So there you go to all of the furries. You now have another lovely piece. EA knows I'm shit talking them. I'm gonna have to take a drink. There we go. But yeah, so all you furries, you've now got another lovely new piece of ass to start drawing, which you already have. So that's absolutely charming. But aside from that, they didn't really show anything off because, like Unraveled, that didn't come out till 6 or 7 months later, it's just kind of like, hey, it's nearly done, but not really. It's kind of like Cuphead, whatever happened to that. I think that came out like quite recently. But the game, it's looking nice. It's nowhere near done, so I'm assuming we'll hear about that more close to the end of the year. But it's looking very, very promising, and that's the only one that's probably going to get into the good box, because all these will be sorted into the good and bad in a moment. Moving on to Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2, much the same as the first one. It shows off you in the Titan battling with other Titans. Although you can use a sword now. Your Titan can get this huge ass sword and can use a sword now. So that's a thing. That looks pretty damn cool. Very excited to see what's going down with that. But we'll see. And then the other thing for Titanfall is they've added a story mode, and you've got like the Titans saying things like, oh, we need to protect the pilot, we need to complete the mission, we need to link with the pilot. So we've got the Titans actually talking like they're sentient beings, which could have been kind of bad because of the first one. You know, like, you've had this thing where in the first one, you were slaughtering all of these Titans, like causing them to explode and shooting each other. You thought nothing of it. But they were living creatures too. They had artificial intelligence. You know, it's kind of like, I don't understand why, because you can just rebuild him. But it's kind of like when Optimus Prime died, and everybody's like, oh my god, Optimus Prime! Optimus Prime! It's like, dude, he's a robot. You can rebuild Optimus Prime. Robots can be rebuilt. But yeah, so it's kind of like, you weren't just destroying the robots. You were killing their souls as well. And now they've got to have their cores rebuilt from scratch. I guess that might be why people cried at Optimus Prime. Like, if you kill the core, while he can be rebuilt, he won't have any memories of you. So it'll just be like factory setting Optimus Prime, because it's just the Optimus Prime core, but like not the memories of him dying. Or maybe it would, I don't know. But yeah, so that's that. But nobody cares about Titanfall 2. Everybody stopped playing Titanfall ages ago, because even in my review I was like, you need to add some meat to the bones, you need to customize your mechs and stuff. They never added it. They were working on Titanfall 2 all this time. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to last. You know, people might buy it for the story mode probably, but that's really all it's bringing. The multiplayer looks very much the same, except you can use a sword. But fuck that! We don't care about that. We care about Battlefield 1. That's the one that was hyped up across the entire thing. Like, all the way through it, they were like, stay tuned, because in the second half of this, we got Battlefield 1. We're going to show you some Star Wars and FIFA stuff. But right after this Star Wars thing, because Star Wars thing was right near the end, right after this Star Wars thing is the moment you've been waiting for. They've hyped the absolute shit out of Battlefield 1. And in the YouTube Battlefield 1 most liked video, best shit. And now we finally got to see Battlefield 1. We finally got to see what all of the hype is over. And to its credit, it looks alright. I'm not into Call of Duty, I'm not into shooters, but for those that are, I can see why it'd look very, very appealing. So we're gonna turn around here to get ready for the final verdicts, but I can see why it'd look very, very appealing. First of all, you have this dynamic weather system, so it changes from like sunny to rainy to foggy. And, you know, in the really thick fog, you can hide in the thick fog because everybody's visibility is a lot lower to sneak up on people. Then you've got, like, all these things that you can control. Like, you can control a tank, a plane, this huge-ass Zeppelin blimp, which they were saying, like, they can, if you've lost all your flags but one flag, you can summon in this Zeppelin blimp, and it kind of, like, pulls the match back for you, because you can just kind of like use the machine guns, because there's like 12 machine guns on this Zeppelin blimp, to just waste the opposing team and get some of your flags back or something like that. So there's a lot of shit they've added. Props to them. It was very engaging to watch the match. I mean, there's a reason for that, which I'll come to in a moment, but props to them. It looks very engaging for Battlefield players, and the fact that there's horses as well. I forgot to mention the horses. There's a Gatling torch. There's so much that they've added. So they are certainly like now leading the competition in terms of the modern military shooter, whereas Call of Duty is now falling behind, because you know, back in, like, a couple of years back, everybody wanted to be Call of Duty because you had, was it Modern Warfare 4? You know, the one that's coming with Infinite Warfare, the one that everybody really, really likes, like, the best Call of Duty. Like, when that came out, everybody wanted to be Call of Duty. Everybody was trying to be Call of Duty. Call of Duty was in the lead. But now it's like I can see that everybody's probably going to be like Battlefield. Like, in the coming years, I imagine everybody's going to have planes, everybody's going to have tanks, everybody's going to try and get the Zeppelin blimp. Because it did live up to its hype in a way. Like, the actual gameplay is 32 versus 32. So, much like Overwatch, there is no single player. It is all online multiplayer, which might annoy some people, but it's this huge 32 versus 32 match, which is going to be complete and total chaos, which, you know, Star Wars kind of had this, and Battlefield definitely still has the same problem, which is because it's so big, they've made the maps absolutely huge. So you can be walking around for 5 minutes without even seeing like a single person. But when you do see people, crazy crap happens. Like I'll get this scene here where they have the Zeppelin blimp, and this guy just jumps off the Zeppelin blimp. At first I was like, oh my god, the dumbass, he fell off. Well, no, because apparently the Zeppelin was exploding, and I'll show the exploded Zeppelin in a minute, but apparently it's exploding, and he jumped off and he had a parachute, and he shot people on his way down with the parachute. So they've added a lot of, they've added quite a lot of new mechanics to this, and I need to minimize my thing. We're going to move on for a second. But yeah, they've added so much to Battlefield. I can see people like Fantasy, who is an absolute Battlefield nut. Fantasy Incantation adores Battlefield. I can see her just buying this and playing the shit out of it, like absolutely loving this. Like Midnight and myself, I don't particularly like that many shooters. You know, Overwatch is probably the only one that I'm playing because I like it. It's fun, colourful, charming. I don't really like the modern shooters, but I can see why people would adore the modern shooters, or adore Battlefield 1, I should say, especially with all of this ever-changing environments, you know, you got the ever-changing weather, and going back to that Zeppelin crashing, here is the actual scene of the Zeppelin crashing. And once it explodes, like, if you're caught in the blast radius, you're dead. And once it's, like, landed and the destruction has fully passed, you've got, like, the ruins of this Zeppelin on the floor that you can use to hide behind, or you can find one of the turrets that has broken off to use for yourself. So, the ever-changing gameplay across the 15-minute match, yeah, I can see why a lot of people would be hyped. It does... While I'm not a fan of Battlefield, it does look like a good game. So, they showed off quite a lot of gameplay. It was quite good. We got, like, quite a few matches. And in terms of overall, the EA press conference was okay. There was a lot of pre-rendered stuff with, like, Mass Effect Andromeda and Star Wars where they showed literally no gameplay, because I don't think the games are finished. And, you know, there was FIFA and Madden, and again, they're not my thing, but if you're a FIFA fan or a Madden fan, I can see you getting really into it. You know, they've added a story mode, for better or for worse, so it was average. It was a pretty average stream. Well, it was a pretty average stream, but like Dancing Donut Man, we have to add a second 5 out of 5 to this conference, because how Watch Dogs 2 was pretty meh and only got a 2 out of 5. You know, EA's press conference, 3 out of 5. It was average. But there is a 5 out of 5 of Snoop Dogg. Apparently I can't write. But yeah, Snoop Dogg. Look, here's the picture of him. Snoop Dogg joined in because they had quite a few people like Wiz Khalifa. And this guy with this awesome Bowser hoodie, like, they were all black for some reason. You had this guy, Wiz Khalifa, Snoop Dogg. It was like a full team of black people. And you also had the Old Spice guy. Like, let me see if I can find a clip. Here's the Old Spice guy. Power! I don't think that's the actual Old Spice guy. He just looks exactly like the Old Spice guy. So it was like a full team of black people versus a full team of white people, I guess. Although that sounds kind of racist, but I don't know. Well, yeah, so Snoop Dogg was 5 out of 5. Snoop Dogg was there just enjoying himself. And I don't know if he was doing this on purpose or as a joke, but as you can see, here he is, smoking weed while playing. There he is with a joint. You can see the smoking. So yes, and as you can see, he is playing as the guy in the Nazi-ish uniform. The golden buttons and the red lines on the grey coat, as you can see on his screen there, looks very Nazi-ish. So now that I know which one he was playing as, I got like all of Snoop Dogg's clips, because hilariously, he won. Like, the black team with Snoop Dogg and Old Spice Man won, and here he is doing like a little fist bump at the end. So it's very clear that weed is not a disability, like many thought. You know, it doesn't fuck your brain up, it makes your brain perform better. It's clear that because Snoop Dogg was smoking weed and Snoop Dogg won, that weed is a performance-enhancing drug. It's a performance-enhancing drug. But not only that, I get to end off with, of course, this.
Every day, 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 smoke weed every day, weed every day, smoke weed every day, smoke every day, weed every day, smoke every day, every day. Smoke weed every day. Smoke every day. Weed every day.
And, of course, now we do the separations. So, Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 420 Blaze It in Snoop Dogg's eyes looks pretty good. What have we got? Madden, I mean, it's okay, and FIFA is pretty good. Again, I'm not into them, but they look good. They're fine. Star Wars and Andromeda. They're just bad because they didn't show anything off. They're just like, here's what we're doing. Yeah, well, thanks. You didn't really tell us anything. Like, again, Star Wars. They're adding a new map to Battlefield, but they were trying to advertise something else. I don't even know what they were advertising, and I've watched the clip back several times, so they're complete and total crap. Fee looks really good. I'm excited for Fee, or Fi, or no, it is Fee. Titanfall 2, it's probably a maybe, really. It don't look that good, and you know everybody's probably just going to be playing Battlefield 1 like Fantasy or Battlefield 420 Blaze it. So yeah, that's EA. It was pretty average except for Snoop Doggy Dogg. 420 Blaze it, smoked the weed while playing the Battlefield, and that was, you know, the highlight. If we had to pick a highlight, that was probably the best bit, because most of the time they were just droning on about a Star Wars thing, or, hey, look, this is the best Madden player in the world. Yeah, well, I don't care about the best Madden player in the world. I care about myself looking at the gameplay of Madden and actually playing it. No, I'm not this guy. So, it was pretty average, and Snoop Dogg really stole the show just for all of the jokes and all of the memes that are now going to come out of it. So, that was EA. It was alright. It was pretty good. Not bad. You know, average 3 out of 5 with a Snoop Doggy Dogg 5 out of 5. And next, we'll move on to Bethesda, who had, as you can see, a whole lot more crap to cover. And they're a lot more consistent than just kind of showing off a few sports games where you can't really say anything, and showing off, like, Star Wars and Mass Effect that have got nothing developed yet, and there was no real reason to show them off at all. So, thank you all for watching my thoughts on the EA conference. It wasn't bad. And next, when we come back in a moment, I will be covering the Bethesda stuff. So stay tuned for that. And then we've got Microsoft and Sony and Ubisoft to round it off tonight. All three of those will be recorded tonight. I might get Microsoft up tonight. I don't know. But I'm going to record Microsoft, Ubisoft and Sony tonight, and those three press conferences will be up tomorrow, and those will be all the press conferences then. And once we've done all the press conferences, obviously the show floors will be open for other people to, you know, like show off demos and gameplay of Yooka-Laylee and other games. So we will be covering the rest of E3 after the conferences. But for now, thank you for watching the thoughts on the EA conference. And tell me your thoughts. Did you like Battlefield 1? Do you care about Madden, FIFA, whatever? Tell me if you have watched the EA conference. Obviously, you should go watch it. You can find it on many YouTube channels now. Mainly IGN, I think, have got them all up. But, yeah, tell me what your thoughts are on EA. Tell me what your feelings on the EA conference is. And I will see all of you in the next one. Also, just before I go, now at 497 subscribers, only 3 away. I'm looking for 3 shining stars to do me right and give me that 500 subscribers, because oh boy, then I can make the 500 subscriber special, and we can talk about a lot of other things. But that's for later. Right now, it's all about the EA conferences. But yeah. Someone else, I can't remember, I don't know who it is yet, but I got an extra subscriber, 497, baby. But for now, thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you for my thoughts on the Bethesda conference.